Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Malikicowtipper going to bring you another game of StarCraft 2, and today my opponent is the Alchemist. Let's just kind of check this out. I want to see what this guy's career is like. He has a lot of played games, and if we just take a look at this, oh wow, this guy actually played in some pretty high-level stuff. That's pretty neat, I guess, checking all that stuff out. Usually looks like he's in Diamond, Platinum League, you know, his 1v1's okay, he does pretty good in his team matches, and this map is going to be on Condemned Ridge, and I realize that I actually talk quite fast during a lot of my casts, but I think that's okay. So, the Alchemist is spawning as the Red Terran in the upper left-hand corner of Condemned Ridge, and I'm Malikicowtipper, I'm spawning as the Blue Zerg in the lower left-hand corner. So, Condemned Ridge, kind of an interesting map. It's very wide, it's very open. This map favors macro games like you just would not believe. The Xel'Nagas are fairly well spaced. Creep spread is extremely important. And the last thing in this game, especially if you're going up against a Terran as a Zerg, Terran almost always are going to do drops. You know, having that creep spread, having your Overlord spread is just going to be absolutely imperative to holding this off. And also, you know, just being aggressive, you know, trying to keep your Terran on their toes and just really make them pay for about any type of shenanigans that they're going to do. So, the early game, as far as this goes, what you're going to see is a supply depot. Supply depots are so neat, and I'm actually going to get very, very lucky here by getting this early scout. And right here, I decide that I'm like, crap, I go kill this SEV, and I just decided not to do that. I'm checking down here just to see if he's going to build anything proxy, and he's not. That SCV is long gone, and right here, I'm instantly going to go to attack this one, but he's not having any of that. He's bringing in that second one, going to do the mineral trick, float away, and I'm gone. And now I'm just going to kind of run around, and he's going to go into building his first barracks. If we take a look at what I'm doing for the early part of the game, I'm doing a pretty standard build, at least what I would consider standard. I've practiced this build a lot. Go to 16, get your expand, then go to 16, get your gas, go to 16, get your spawning pool. And I've noticed that a lot of the pro players do a 15 hatch, and then they do pretty much the exact same thing that I do, only with one drone later. And I guess the reason why I like to do the 16 is my logic behind that is I'm never not spending the larva that I have, and it keeps your larva count low early in the game, but maybe there's a reason for getting that out quicker. I should probably, you know, do a couple games where I do it 16, do a couple games where I do it 15, and compare, you know, where I'm at economically, you know, 5-minute mark type of thing, and realistically, I doubt there's that much of a difference to it, and I'm going to stick with it for now because it's a build that I've practiced, I've become quite comfortable with it, and that's really the thing with StarCraft. I find that the more you play, the more you get to, oh no, don't kill him. Anyway, the more that you do a particular build, the more comfortable you get with it. You get used to the timings, it kind of gets in your head, and it's something that you don't really need to think about when you're doing it. We are going to see the first Marine is on its way from the Alchemist, and he's more or less going to use that to shut down my worker. And if we check this out, he's pretty much waiting until my worker's dead, or until he has, no, he's not going to wait. There you go. So we are seeing a barracks into a outside command center. Kind of a risky play, just because you might see Zerglings running into the base, but I'm not going to know about that. Malikicowtipper has no clue that that's going down, and this poor little not SCV, poor little drone is going to get shot. This Marine going to be the hero of the day, and oh, guts everywhere. That's just gross. So sick. Anyway, his SCV getting into my base, scouting it out, and realizing that, you know, I've got gas going here. I haven't started my speed yet, but I more than likely will be. That's pretty much the main reason why Zerg get fast gas is to get fast speed for map control. And you're going to see me go into 2 queens right away with 4 lings, more or less just for scouting. And after that, you're going to see me build the 3rd queen for 2 reasons. One, it's going to help accelerate that creep spread. And 2 queens that you can get up here in your ramp, in your mineral line, anything like that is just great for stopping Hellions. It's just really chill, actually. Yeah, chill is the best word to describe having a lot of queens. So, we check this out. The Marines are just kind of waiting here for this bunker to be built, and he's going to wall off the front. So my Lings, they're really not going to be able to do that much. They're going to die running past this bunker, and if they had speed, which they don't, it's still quite a ways away, I might have been able to get up there quick enough to kill these Marines and kill the bunker, and be kind of annoying, but with 3 Marines, you know, not that much that they're going to be able to do, and these guys actually chilling here. If they would have ran up a second earlier, that would have been kind of nice. But we can see I'm just being kind of lazy. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. Zerglings, they're cool, and now they're going to get shot. And I decide that I'm going to try to get some scouting information with these guys, and he does raise the wall, and he stops me from seeing anything that's going on in the base at all. So at this point, I'm like, you know what, Overlord, go and do my bidding. You will scout the base for me. And we'll see that he actually has triple racks into his outside expansion. So he's going to fill this bunker, and then as we can see, he's actually going to build more bunkers here and kind of create more of a Sim City type effect with that. And that's going to be really good at preventing ban lane buffs, which, as you can see, seeing that he went, you know, that fast expand and that his defenses really weren't that high, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going to go ban lane bust, and he's probably like, shit, He knows my defenses aren't very good. I need to build more bunkers. So unfortunately, this nest is not going to be out in time. If we go to the income tab, we'll see that I'm up by 3 harvesters, but that's really not all that much. So what I need to do right now is, while this Banelane nest is building, I need to just drone and drone hard. I have my designated creep pooper, and she's just going to help give me that map vision, get it going quickly, and I need to build more drones. Just before I want to do this, I need my economy up and running, because you can see my money is just so low. I do not have enough to build a lot of lings anytime soon. And I have an evil chamber going down along with a spine crawler. This is a response to the fact that there could be a factory back here, especially with the reactor on it, and I could see some Hellions coming out very soon at about this time. So between my creep spread, my tri-queens, and the spine crawler, I fear no Hellions unless there's like 17 of them. 17 Hellions, you know, that would just be kind of ridiculous to have that many, because like 3 roaches I think could kill 17 Hellions. Maybe 4. You know, I don't do math. As a lot of us casters, we just like to say stuff, say words. Yeah, words are awesome. And if we check this out, more bunkers going down in front of the Alchemist base, and this is just crazy. There are so many Marines. Almost any attack on this would be almost suicidal at my part, because the Lings are just going to get shot down. This is a shooting gallery. I think the only time I've ever seen something like this is when I was playing the single-player campaign, where I would stagger my bunkers like this so they could all shoot and move units into each other. And it's like, oh, defending, you know, anytime they give you one of those, like, awesome defense maps, it's like, yeah, no big deal. I've got, like, 17 bunkers with Marines and 1 Marauder in it, and nothing can kill me. So these Lings are going to poke up here, and, oh, they're all going to get shot. No, gross. But I am going to get this Ling into the base. He cannot raise it in time, and this tells me everything I need to know. I see that there's a factory on the way. He has 3 bunkers. There's no starports. There's an NG bay, and I'm feeling extremely good at this point. We can see that I actually have my lair tech up and running. I'm building 12 more Zerglings. These workers managed to kill off my Ling. Sad day, but you know what, at this point, I decide, screw it. He's probably not expecting me to go for some type of attack, and he might not build any more units, so I'm going to build a bunch of Banelanes, blow this up, and if I can get in there and do some damage, awesome. If it doesn't work, well, I guess I'm just out some Lings. It's really not that big of a deal. I'll expand behind it. We go to the income. I'm at 42 over his 36, and the biggest thing is I just need to not stop building harvesters while I'm doing this. I need to continue to get my economy up and running, but we can see I actually have ideal saturation for where I'm at right now in the game. We can see that the Terran is getting up his quad gas, and if we check out the tech that he's going to, he has an armory going down, so out of this factory, he'll more than likely start to produce tanks and kind of fall into a standard Terran mid-game. As far as that goes, we can see he's just training a lot of Marines, you know, all of these things. We have Tech Lab, and Reactor, and I'm surprised he has not researched a single upgrade yet. I just don't get that at all. Like, at 10 minutes in the game, why would you not be researching Stim or Combat Shield? It's not like he wouldn't have the money for it, but I think he's just producing a few too many attacking units. And we can see here that if I spread my Banelanes, maybe throw a few Lings in there first to soak up some damage, I could possibly break this wall and maybe do some damage if I can get the perfect attack on this. But realistically, these defenses are pretty good. I do not think I'm going to do the damage that I need to do with this attack. The only thing that I have going is I'm researching +1 ground armor, which is pretty neat. I'm building a lot more drones. These Banelanes all going to go in, and will they do anything? That bunker going down, this bunker almost dead. And at this point, I'm like, you know what, screw it, I'm going to commit to the attack, see what I can kill. And there's just too many Marines in there. My Banelanes coming in, killing that bunker, and all of these Lings being cleaned up. That attack could not have been cost-effective, but I did force him to pull all of his SCVs. He was worried that there was even more behind it. I got to scout the command center, and if that's going to do anything for me at all, is it's going to force him to replace all of those units and hopefully put him into a panic mode where he just decides, you know what, I don't know if I want to expand, and we see double command center. That is just crazy. Let's go back to the income tab right here. 52, 54, 57. Wow, harvesters coming out everywhere. That is so awesome. I love Zerg. Infestation pit on the ground. Double geysers coming down here. And right now, I am going to get ready to start to take this into Hive Tech very quickly and try to just macro my way and win this game. So I have these Lings out cruising around the map, basically going to try to tell me if he's tried to expand already, or if those command centers have lifted off, landed anywhere, but we can see he's just lifting it off right now, and he's probably going to take this pocket expansion right down here. So my Lings not quite in the right place at the right time, but you know what, they're cool. Lings just look so awesome, like they run, they're like floating, like, hey guys, cool, yeah, let's go and kill everything, Sorry, that was a little weird. We won't talk about that. 4th expansion on the way. My creep spread not nearly as good as it could be. If we check out the APM of both of us right now, we can see that I'm up consistently above his APM, 76 over 46, and this is kind of a boring part in the game, so you know, I'm sure both of our APMs will get higher A little bit later on, we can see we have tech going down, centrifugal hooks, pathogen glands. We check out the main base. I have a macro hatch on the way, creep tumors starting to get kind of where they need to be, and I'm going to go into Ling Infester with a few Banelings mixed in, and that's generally enough to hold off any type of Terran aggression, especially just a straight bio build like this is crazy. I don't even know why he got this factory. Maybe just to advance to the next Terran tech level. There's some starports out. Yep, he would have needed it just for the starports. We can see I have a changeling up in your base, and at this point I see straight bio, and I'm like, well, cool, I'll build a bunch of infestors and a few fungal growths, and that will take care of everything. So he has not researched combat shield. Oh my gosh, I don't understand that. Why would you not get combat shield if you're going so heavy into Marines? You know, that makes a lot of sense later on in the game. I didn't notice it while I was playing, but I don't know if he ever actually gets his combat shield upgrade. I think he completely forgot to get it. And these Lings, I am able to spot this expansion going down here. There's a massive supply depot wall off, and this Ling, he's going to be the hero and explode this changeling, just doing what he can. We can see I have an overseer over here, nothing coming out in terms of anti-air, and I'm just building lots of infestors going to hive tech right now. And the mistake I made, just bad macro on my part, is not getting my spire down when I started my hive tech, so that's going to delay my broodlords by quite a bit. I actually don't even know when I decide to get that spire up right now. So if we take a look at this, hive tech's done in 20 seconds, the spire's done in 90 seconds, and greater spire takes another 100 seconds. It's going to be over 3 minutes in game, almost 4 minutes until I have broodlords. So this right now is kind of the one big advantage that the Alchemist will have over me. We can see I have a massive supply lead over him right now. He needs to push out, and he absolutely needs to attack before my broodlords are out. Straight bio can do pretty good against Zerg, especially if you're good at microing your Marines and I can't get my Banelings into place. But I have enough infestors with enough energy where if I can drop a few fungals on this, they do 40 damage to Marines that only have 45 life. These Marines are just going to incinerate. I don't care how many medevacs you have, a couple fungals on top of your Marines, and you're done, son. We can see I'm basically just mining for gas. We check out the income. I have 73 harvesters, which is right about where I want. I don't know how many more I want to build. I could definitely use to start migrating a few of these guys off out of the space just to kind of keep my economy up and running. Let's go back to the production tab, and right now I'm more or less just floating resources, getting upgrades, waiting for my spire to finish so I can pump out corruptors. And right now we can see that he's actually getting ready for some drop plays. So my overlords are going to help me spot this, but I don't think I was quite paying attention on my mini-map during this part of the game, and I do not have my corruptors out yet. So I'm not really going to be able to do much until these guys decide to land. And if we check this out, I'm not doing anything. I'm not watching, that part at all. I'm checking this out over here for some reason. I'm looking at his army, and I'm like, oh, cool, I have 2 changelings. That's pretty neat. Spreading my creep. Yep, I'm doing awesome. I'm so slow. Suck less at this game. And now I'm like, oh, God, I'm getting attacked. Go click everything. Oh, God, drones dying. Zerglings coming in. Fungal growth. That happened. You're dead. And, yeah, that's pretty neat, actually. So if we check this out, I am going to be able to get that medevac, which is pretty neat, actually. But this medevac is going to get in here, and it's going to be able to do a little bit of damage. But my Lings, almost on the way. This medevac being worked on by that spore crawler. All of these units is just going to die. Oh, that's gross. The poor marauder. Bloody mess everywhere. So if we go to the income tab, we can see that he did manage to kill 10 of my harvesters, which does kind of suck. But my 2-2 is almost finished, and he had to have completely forgotten combat shield. We can see that I am replacing some of the drones. Yep, there we go. Pretty much replacing all the drones that I lost. I have a 5th base coming up here, and I think I'm pretty much just going to use this to migrate some workers and to get gas off of, because that's really what I need. We can see he's doing good on his upgrades, keeping pace. 3-3 for him has actually started. I have not started my 3-3 for my ground yet, so I definitely could use to start that. There we go. So he will have about a 15-second moment where his upgrades will be slightly better than mine, but 3-3 cracklings with infestors mixed in and then with broodlords is just going to absolutely destroy this straight bio play. I guess I just don't get going mass marines. I understand that you can rebuild a lot of them, and we can see he has so many barracks coming down. Wow, he is 100% committed to the mass marine build. I don't even think there's any marauders mixed into this, and right now we can see he's actually preparing another drop, but I have corruptors on the way. Your drop will fail. Ha! And actually, he's going to be able to get some of those troops down, and they're going to start picking off my corruptors, and that's not good. Corruptors are expensive. I did not send in nearly enough Lings to deal with this. His upgrade's plenty good enough. He now has combat shield, making his troops a lot more survivable. And right here, I'm running in a lot of Lings. There's no medevacs left. You are going to die. Banelings blowing up everything. The Marauder standing his ground, and that last SCV, you're toast. You're just done, son. We go to the units lost tab right now. We can see that I've lost a little bit more than the Terran has. If we go to the income right now, I'm up 75 over 44, so his saturation is extremely light for having 3 bases. I'd like to see him have about 15 more harvesters. He just does not have a lot of troops going on this or on any of these, and I think he might mainly be relying on mules. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 orbital commands, so that's why he has very few SCVs, and that's one thing that Terran can do, is they can kind of later on in the game rely a lot on that. And oh, I'm missing a big attack. I'm going to take that back just a little bit because it's probably pretty cool. I want to see it. So if we check this out, I'm going to see him moving out with this massive ball of Marines from the middle of the map. We go back to the production right here. We can see I'm morphing in 10 Broodlords. Awesome. And I do like that he's killing... Well, I don't like that he's killing my creep, and this queen is like, fuck you, that's my creep. And she's going to bravely stand her ground and die, buying just a little bit of time, and all my Zerglings are going to rush in along with my Banelings. He splits his army of fungal growths coming down. These infestors need to get out of there before they die, and the Zerglings doing a good job at cleaning all these guys up. The infested Terran going to be the reinforcements that I need, and I'm going to clean that up nicely. When you take a look at this, I lost, you know, about 5 infestors. I lost a bunch of Lings, but I have 10 Broodlords out in the field, and that is just scary. Lings are easy to replace. And as far as the Alchemist goes, he has nothing to go on but just straight Marine. He just does not have the tech. He doesn't have the starports to deal with what I'm doing at all. And if we take a look at this, he was producing more medevacs. This is just not the correct answer whatsoever. There's another barracks going up. Another barracks. I don't understand the point of this many barracks. I don't even know if he has the economy to fund all of this. And he really, really needs to take a 4th right now. But I think he's afraid to. And we can see that I have these overlords pooping over here. And I know at this point in the game, I had figured he had taken these bases. And I know I'm going to grab a small little group of Lings once I have him here to run out and kind of see what's going on. We can see I'm migrating almost instant full saturation straight down to the space. And I have moved more drones over here. The income tab right now, 80 over 43. If he doesn't expand and get those mules going on other bases and tech up very, very soon, there's just not going to be much that he can do. Yes, this is a lot of Marines, but when they take all that damage from fungal growths and you have nothing to deal with my Broodlords and there's Banelings and there's Infestors, it's just bad news bears. So if we check this out right here, the Corruptors, I have a decent amount of them, but they're not going to be able to work on these medevacs quite quick enough. There's already going to be a fungal growth going down on these, and we can see that there just is not... I don't think he's going to be able to micro away his Marines from this many Banelings. The Infestors are going to drop down a lot of fungal growths, and all of the Marines just blowing up everywhere. Infested Terrans coming down, and right here we can see he actually has a lot of Marines left alive, and he's going to get some kills. Oh no, what's he shooting? I don't know what he's shooting. No, his Marines are not killing anything but the Broodlords, and that attack right there, I lost like 2 Broodlords during that. I lost no Corruptors. I lost no Infestors. All I lost was Zerglings and Banelings. If we go to the Units Lost tab right now, we can see that these attacks are favoring me quite significantly. I'm working on a lot more bases than him. My supply is almost 100 over his, and I guess taking a look at this, back at this game in retrospect, as I was playing the game, I didn't really feel like Alchemist applied a lot of pressure for a Terran player that's played as much as he does, and I'm thinking that he's had success with some of his, you know, maybe lower units, and lower games, but I just don't see how this build will win anything, at least not against this composition. This composition is just so cost-effective because are you going to kill 30 or 40 Lings every time, but you're not killing any of my Broodlords? And we can see here he's rushing this army out. I'm going to pull them back behind the high grass. He has no vision whatsoever, and I am going to lose a few Broodlords, but there's fungal growths going down everywhere, and there's SCVs mixed in with the Marines. The Broodlords just not dying. The Marines dying everywhere. This is just so bad. Infested Terran just killing everything. Oh, that just is not... Sad day. That is not fun for him. Yeah, units lost. He lost almost 6,000 units worth of troops during that battle. I lost, you know, under 2,000 because it was mainly just Zerglings. And at this point, I'm 150 supply over him. There's just nothing that he can do. And if we take a look at this, he still has minerals at his main base and at his second expansion. I'm completely mined out on both of these. My natural expansion is almost a third mined out, and even this, for me, I could have taken so many more bases with the amount of map control that I actually had, and these Lings forced to lift off, that command center exploding, and there's just too many Broodlords. I think I only morphed in those original 10 Broodlords, and I still have a lot of them. and there's just not much you can do. Small little group of Marines coming out, but there's just too many Broodlings, and right now they have their 3/3 upgrades. These Broodlings, very cost-effective, even pulling down the Mules. So that is the game. That was against Alchemist, and I gotta say that, you turtle up, you get the tech that you want, but I just don't think that massing Tier 1 units against this endgame Zerg army was even the least bit effective whatsoever. And I'm going to have to consider whether or not I even want to post this game. Like, it felt a little bit more intense as I was playing it, but taking a look at it, I was never in any real danger this game, and I thought that Alchemist, when I took a look at the replay, before I don't pre-screen these games, I thought he was a little bit of a higher level player than this. I mean, he was in Masters League, which is kind of neat, I guess. But, we'll consider it. I've taken the time to cast it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Malikicowtipper signing out.